How about now? No?
There you go.
I'm good? We're good? Excellent. Okay, I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm so sorry about the static. Thank you all for not leaving. My goodness. Welcome to the new year. Welcome to 2024, where things get messed up and things get really, really weird. So I apologize very much. Um, Welcome so much to the show. Welcome to 2024. Thank you all so much for being here. Holy crap, I just looked at the star tab of the support you guys have already sent in and I am amazed. I'm losing my mind. Okay. Hello to everyone who is here. If you have not seen me before, hi, I'm ItsKim. This is my show. This is my home, and we talk about pop culture topics that I'm passionate about. I happen to love Britney Spears, so we talk about her quite often. But I also talk about other stories. I also am very passionate about mental health and other things. So, um, I talk about lots of things on this show. We also have a halftime where we just chill, and then at the end we do a what the what, which is always just something fun, crazy, wild from around the internet that entertains us. And producer sister curates that all for us so that we all experience it in real time together. And my reaction is authentic and all of those things. So I do apologize for that static issue. I'm not going to lie to you. I know exactly what it is. It's this cord that is plugged in, and it was my goal this week to sit down and find a new cord, and I was going to take a look at what's going on with my the financial stuff to do with the channel, which is all super boring and everything else. But for those of you that don't know, if anything is sent directly to my PayPal, it goes immediately into the expenses for the channel. So that was where I was going to go for it. And I do have to say an incredible thank you before I even get to the stuff that was done before the stream even started. I have to say thank you to Gene Rick, Heather S, General Scott, and holy crap, Shauna. Thank you so much for the PayPal tips that you sent me over the holidays and before this show. And they will be going towards getting a new cord so that you will all hopefully never hear that sound again. My deepest apologies. Um, Separate from that, I do have to say, my goodness, thank you so much, King Bob, for the 5 gifted memberships. That is absolutely amazing. I have to go over to my other thingy now. And see what all of the stickers are that you guys sent. I see a General Scott, King Bob, and Tyrana all sent in a $2 and Tyrana sent a $3, but it's all the nope, I'm getting confused. Two $2 super stickers with the one up. Thank you very much, General Scott and King Bob. And Tyrana, thank you for the $3 super sticker of I think it's a dancing hippo. And then we had Katie Artist 94 doing another hippo super sticker with Hoyt. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Then we had Shauna's 10 gifted memberships. My goodness. Then we had Rando's 5 gifted memberships. 5 months? Oh, Rando's 5 months. My goodness. Happy New Year. Sorry. Happy New Year, Space Angels. Yes. Happy New Year to everyone. I'm sorry. I'm so flustered. That cord really threw me off. It's frustrating. Um, King Bob, thank you for the $2 super sticker. You guys are spoiling me today. My goodness. And then we had 5 gifted memberships from General Scott, 10 gifted memberships from Carbonized Stardust. We had a member for 3 months. Doro has been here for 3 months now. And hello in 2024. Hello to you. Sarai has been here, member for 3 months. Happy New Year, Kim, and producer sister. Thank you. Carbonized Stardust, I have to tell you, producer sister told me that you wrote this and she was laughing her head off. So thank you very much for making her laugh. Of the like button is Dan. Smash it. Sorry. Kinda. Oh, thank you so much. And yes, please remember to hit that like button. Please remember to subscribe, all those good things. Tinkle sent in the rainbows for 5 months. Thank you so much. And KDR94 said, no Space Angels stream withdrawals anymore. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I cannot believe I have so much to catch up on, and I'm already so behind in the chat. It's just absolutely wild. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for your patience. And I swear we have worked hard on a show for you today. I have 3 stories I want to talk about in pop culture. Then we have a halftime, and I'm going to pitch something to you guys potentially for something extra this week. It'll depend. We'll see what's going on. And then I have 3 What the Whats. We have 2 updates from previous sagas, and then we have a belated holiday one. Full disclosure, we were planning on doing one show through the holidays that We were planning on doing one live stream through the holidays, and then unfortunately I got really sick one day, and that was just not going to happen. So producer sister put together this big thing for us to do that day, which didn't happen. So if you guys are open to it, we can do it today. So that is the plan. If you are watching on the replay, I've got the timestamps below. Again, you can jump around to where you're going to be because I have the feeling this is going to be a little bit of a longer show, but I'm going to do my best to have it be done in good time. I always joke with myself, I don't want to keep you here past 4, but I usually do. So, like me, girls. I'll keep you here until 4. Never mind. We're going to stay here till it's done. I'll keep you here all night. Let me take a look here. My goodness, I'm seeing so many familiar faces and new faces, which is awesome. And I'm so happy you all are here. But we are going to jump right into the main topic. So I'm not going to be focusing on the chat for a bit because I really have to focus on all of these stories because I'm kind of jumping all over the place. So here we go. Let's do the, how do I do this? Is it that one? Nope. Nope. Why can I not find my layout? There it is. There we go. Back in the swing of things. We're getting back on the horse. We're doing it. I also have to let you guys know, in case you don't see her, Lacey is currently getting her hair done. So I am by myself with producer sister, but my co-pilot. No, you're not chopped liver. It's just my fluffy co-pilot isn't here and I feel weird. And I always get more flustered when she's not here. So, alrighty. So we got a few stories to talk about today. So before we get super into it, I do want to say this stream will include speculation and opinion. It should not be taken as fact. This is my show and I share my opinion. If you have questions about why my opinion is the way that it is, feel free to check out the source doc that is in the description. It goes over all the links that I've used to put together the show today. So if you're trying to understand, why I feel that way and you want to check facts and you want to do your own research, you can start there. And I hope that that is helpful to you. Always do your own research, all that good stuff. Also, hi, YouTube human reviewer. And I'm going to be very clear with you today. Hi. Hello. Nothing explicit is going to be shown today. Nothing. And I have gone to painful lengths to make sure that the things that I talk about are appropriate on this platform. So much so, we actually have a running gag on this channel for that, and it's this.
I'm trying.
I'm doing my best, okay? We're doing our best. So nothing explicit is going to be shown. I have censored trigger words, and anything that isn't really super censored is going to be later on in the stream to abide by the community guidelines that you've put in place because I care about this platform and I want to follow your rules. And viewers, please do not send hate to anyone ever. It's not cool. You're allowed to have an opinion, but let's just not do that. And I know you guys don't do that, but Houston, nothing explicit again. I know. No, I try to I try to keep things, PG, maybe PG-13 at most. Alrighty. So this has been all over the news and I knew people would be asking about it. So I figured we would talk about it right off the bat. And it is that potentially the Britney comeback is coming. Yes, we are looking at the potential of Britney's 10th studio album coming out, the first since her album Glory, which if you've read her book, you know that Glory was very important to Britney's process of getting her fire back, getting her confidence back. And since she's been out of the conservatorship, I think there's been a lot of conversation about whether or not Britney would come back to music. I think however she chooses to do things moving forward is going to be different than what we would expect. However, she has always gone back to music to handle stuff in her life. She uses art a lot of the time as an outlet, and I'm not surprised at all that she's moving in this direction. But I don't think it's going to be the same as it was. I don't know if we're going to see the whole big world tours or another residency or things like that. If we do see that, I think it's going to be very specific and it's going to be within her control. So what we know is that there is a potential writers camp happening that will include Charlie XCX and Julia Michaels. So I'm going to read through this article with you from page 6. Let me make this bigger for myself. There we go. So the chart-topping songwriters are eagerly lining up to work with Britney Spears' long-awaited 10th studio album, sources tell page 6. We hear Charlie XCX and Julia Michaels are among the lyrical savants who have been tapped to pen tracks for what Spears' team hopes will be the Princess of Pop's first full length release in nearly a decade. However, there are sources say that Britney has not recorded any new material yet, as the project is only starting to take shape. The US Sun was the first to report on Charlie's involvement. Page Six first reported in August that Britney was planning on recording a new album amid her divorce from third husband Sam Asghari. She has an upcoming writers camp and is getting songs from some big artists, a source told us at the time. However, we're told the Grammy winner ultimately pressed pause on returning to music to focus on the October release of her memoir, The Woman in Me, which she candidly admitted to struggling with the idea of performing again after years of trauma. Britney previously worked with Michaels, 30, on 7 Glory songs, including the single Slumber Party. So I did want to just bring this up because I think when we talk about these writers, sometimes people get kind of bored because it's like, oh, okay, I don't know who these people are. Like, it doesn't really matter to me. But the thing is, Julia Michaels is an incredible writer. And I would almost put money on the fact that everybody here has a song that they like that Julia Michaels has been involved in because she has been all over stuff over the past couple of years. So, this is an article from People that came out in 2017, and I can tell you that she has done much since then as well. But when she first was kind of like starting to get noticed more, she was more of a songwriter, and then she also did her own songs, so she does have some of her own music. But she's known for working with Demi Lovato, Fifth Harmony, Nick Jonas, Kelly Clarkson, Haley Steinfeld, Jack Antonoff's Indie Act, which is like the creative partner of Taylor Swift. Okay, so we've got this web kind of going on. And when she was interviewed in 2017 about Britney, she said this: the most surprising was probably Britney, as in the artist that she had worked with. I don't think people realize how active she is in the studio, says Michaels. A lot of songs that her and Justin Tranter, her writing partner, and I did together were her concepts, melodies, and lyrics. I think the pop melody sensibility is so ingrained in her brain that she just sounds like pop music. Adds Michaels, she is exactly what you think she's like. She's really down to earth, really humble, just wants to make music and have fun. She is no different than anybody else. And I can tell you, Julia does also have 2 Billboard Hot 100 number ones under her belt. Sorry by Justin Bieber and Lose You to Love Me by Selena Gomez. So she is a fantastic one to have. And the photo that was on the last slide was her, or not the last slide, but the one before, was her and Britney in the studio on Glory. So to me, the fact that when Britney talks about Glory and that it was a part of her finding her fire, part of her finding her confidence again, that she fell in love with making music again, that she is considering working with someone who was involved in almost half of the album, I think is a very good thing. And I'm pleased to see it. And it sounds like Julia really wants her to be able to have her say and be herself. And she just wants to amplify that. And those are the types of people that I would be very happy to see her work with. On top of that, Charlie XCX in the past had submitted demos for Britney's 2013 album Britney Jean to no avail. I hear the Britney fans laughing. Um, I do think that that is interesting as well because sometimes I wonder throughout the conservatorship, were there songs that Britney wanted to do, but she was told no? And is it possible that maybe Britney remembered things that were submitted and maybe she wasn't allowed? I don't know. That's my speculation. That's my opinion. But I do think it's interesting. But Charlie also said nothing ended up on there, but I'm honored anytime Britney calls, obviously. What a queen. So if you don't know who she is, she was a part of the Icona Pop collaboration, the I Love It, I Don't Care, that song. And then she also was on the hook and the bridge for Fancy by Iggy Azalea, and that was a massive, massive song. She also had a song of her own called Boom Clap that came out in that time. And since then, she has also co written again for Iggy Azalea, for Selena Gomez's Same Old Love, Blondie's Tonight, Shawn Mendes, and Camila Cabello's Senorita. Rita Ora, like there's just tons of stuff going on. So there's a lot of good stuff happening here, and I'm excited to see potentially her working with these people. I also would not be surprised if Max Martin is involved in the project because Max has tended to be alongside Britney through a lot of her career. They started together with Baby One More Time, and there have been many hits from Max Martin with Britney. So we'll see what happens with that as well. Again, not confirmed, but I would just assume that likely that's on the table, at least being considered. So exciting news for Britney fans. I'm here for it. I'm happy to see it. Now I did want to let you guys know, and this is something I've wanted to spend a bit more time on, but I unfortunately ran out this morning. But I wanted to let you guys know. The only thing that I have with this article that I feel like maybe isn't completely accurate, and I can go back through the article here and I can show you guys what I'm talking about. However, our sources say that Britney has not recorded any new material yet, as the project is only starting to take shape. In the same article, it was confirmed that Britney's own rep had not confirmed this. And I say that because one of the things that I watch all the time now as a fan is what's called ASCAP, I believe it's said. And it's a database for songs being registered. And I can tell you guys over the past year, songs have been registered associated with Britney. Some with her vocal credit, some with her writing credit. In particular, one that has been registered, and please put a one in the chat if you think you know where I'm going with this when I say the word rebellion. Rebellion Part 2. I have seen things being said that potentially it has been registered. And I want to do more of a deep dive into this. I want to know all of the details about it before I really do anything. So, what I'm saying is, this is speculation. This is what I have seen. I really, really, really want to do my due diligence on this. So, do not go running like ItsKim said this or whatever. But what I'm saying is that there has been activity with registering songs. I have been speaking with some people behind the scenes that are in the industry, and I'm trying to get more information. For those of you that don't know, Rebellion was a song that Britney put together and partially wrote alongside a couple of other writers before the conservatorship. And the lyrics of it allude very much to her family and to the people closest to her, literally saying, "Be wary of others, the ones closest to you, the poison they feed you, and the voodoo that they do." But in rebellion, there's a sparkle of truth. Don't just stand there, do what you have to do, because you'll find it in rebellion. And a lot of people have felt like this was her song to her family and the people that were trying to control her at the time, and her saying, "No, this is my rebellion. What I'm working on now, like Blackout, this is my rebellion. I am making music the way that I want to. I'm living my life the way that I want to." So the idea that potentially this theme could be coming back is exciting. Now, whether or not it will see the light of day, I think is a different conversation. It's a different story. It could be possible that these things that have been registered have just been registered, but that doesn't mean they're going to be used for a new project. It could have been her own therapy, essentially. But just know that this is something behind the scenes that I am looking into, that I am working on, and I'm trying to find leads on so that I can give you guys validated information, correct information. But just know that we are still living in speculation station at this point, and I'm doing the best that I can. But I hope that that is exciting to you guys, that we are, to me, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, I think new music is coming. That's my gut. And I think that it's something that maybe Britney is moving into a place that she's more ready to do, but she's going to do it at her own pace. So we will see how it goes. I hope that makes sense and everybody is good. And I just want to say I'm so proud of you guys for the once, especially producer sisters, like, yes! Bring us rebellion. The rebellion stands are having their happy moment, you know?
Anytime now.
Oh my gosh. If this is the year of Taylor Swift's Reputation, Taylor's version, and Rebellion, Britney's Rebellion, I'm gonna lose my mind. I will have zero chill. I will be insufferable. So that was the first thing. Do we have static again, Wancho? Is anybody else having static? Or are you just back further? Oh, whoop, never mind. Watch it give you a heart attack. No, no more static. No more static.
I also want Britney and Janet.
Yeah. Yeah, Britney and Janet collabs, all these things that I need. Okay. Now the next story I wanted to talk about. Here we go. This is censored. Kanye
No one asked for.
and the things nobody asked for today and nobody wanted, here we are. Kanye West has been under fire over the past day because of some photos that he has put on his Instagram, one of which is on your screen and has been censored by myself. I can't. Now, the issue here is not so much the photo. The issue here is the context of the photo. So Kanye West posts risque photos of his wife Bianca. Yes, that is not Kim Kardashian. After criticizing ex Kim Kardashian for being overly sexualized. Okay. So I'm just going to read this article through with you guys. Apparently, Kanye West is okay with his wife being overly sexualized so long as it is Bianca. The controversial rapper took to Instagram on Tuesday to share risque photos of Sensori. I'm always afraid I'm going to say her name wrong, so I'm just going to call her Bianca, whom he married in December of 2022, modeling a black bikini so tiny it barely covered her top pointy parts. Here's another photo, which is also censored. Okay. Social media users were mostly critical of these posts, commenting things like, "This is gross, a mess, and what happened to that journey for Christ?" Others argued that West was trying too hard to mold Bianca into his ex-wife Kim Kardashian, writing things like, "He's creating the new at Kim K, Kim from Wish, and Rebound Kim." Another observer remarked, "Wait, didn't Kanye call Kim out for dressing too provocatively?" Yes. Yes, he did. As recently as last October, the Grammy winner told Fox News' Tucker Carlson that he had a lot of issues with the imagery of Skims, Kardashian's line of intimates and apparel. I feel like there's a lot of imagery that was over sexualized and things that I wouldn't want my wife and definitely not my daughters doing in the future to sell the product, he elaborated at the time. West's issues with the Skims campaign echoed his complaints about Kardashian's dripping wet, tightly corseted 2019 Met Gala look, which he called too sexy in an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians that year. The corset, the underwear, all that vibe, I just felt like I was going through this transition of being a rapper and looking at all these girls and then looking at my wife and like, oh, my girl needs to be just like these other girls, showing her body off, showing this, showing that. The musician said while sitting in on his then spouse's final fitting before the big event. So to put it in perspective, that's the outfit. This was too much. This. Are you guys getting why people have a problem with this? Kanye then went on to say, "I didn't realize that it was affecting my soul and my spirit as someone that's married and loved, the father of what's about to be 4 kids," he went on. "A corset is a form of underwear. It's hot. Like, hot for who, though?" Now, Kim told West his last minute negative energy was giving her really bad anxiety, to which he replied, "You are my wife, and it affects me when pictures are too sexy." The reality star, who shares these kids with him, then reminded him that he was the one who built her up to be this sexy person and to have confidence. So basically, according to Kanye West, one of these photos is too sexy. And it's not the one I had to censor for YouTube. My brain actually hurts looking at this. My brain hurts. Does this make any sense to anyone? Yeah, I'm just going, yikes. Just, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing. Yeah, for the record, Your Honor, you got this. You got this on point. It is weird. And the thing is, I'm going to go back to probably the most appropriate photo I have here, which is very sad. It's this one. For a long time, I have becoming more and more concerned about Kanye West. And I am not going to get into the politics of anything, and I do not want arguments in this chat because I understand that he brings the controversy, he brings the issues, and some people really, really love him. And I get that. But the outbursts we have seen from Kanye West in the past 2 years, in my opinion, are going into a dangerous place. I think his behavior around the divorce between him and Kim was not appropriate. Buying a home super close to her to assert control, in my opinion. Making a music video about burying her new boyfriend alive was weird. Marrying someone that everyone is saying, looks so much like his ex, and I can't really argue with that. Then this inconsistent, the way that he looks at women, the way that he looks at his wife, it's just, and I'm not even going to mention like the other stuff, like the stuff he just apologized for, which really makes me laugh because I was saying that it wasn't okay, the things that he was saying, and I don't even want to say the word because I'm afraid of censors, but he was saying things that were very destructive against a group of people. He's now apologized to that group of people, acknowledging that it was dangerous, while you still had people the entire time defending him and saying that it wasn't dangerous what he was saying. So it's just absolutely bananas. I'm kind of done with excusing any of his behavior. I'm over it because this is scary. I am scared for Bianca. Every part of me that has looked at this over the past couple of months is just screaming that something is wrong. And I hope that I'm wrong. I really do. But there's something off here. And I just hope that Bianca's okay. And if they are happy and everything's great and she wants all of this, then I'm really happy for her and everything else. But it's just, there's something about it that's weird. Like, am I the only one that thinks that this is weird? I'm okay. You know what we're gonna do a poll. We're gonna do a poll. Okay, so I'm asking, is Kanye's relationship with Bianca weird? Like, is something up with this? Is how I'm going to put it. So that's the question. The top option is going to be yes. The bottom option is going to be no. So if it comes up on your app and it's not showing properly, because I know that's what's been happening, the question is Kanye's relationship with Bianca weird? Yes, top option. No, bottom option. Let me know. Let your voice be heard. And we'll talk about that. Yeah, Emily, I think how do you say no to someone like Kanye? That's what scares me for her. Exactly. How do you it's weird. It's weird. Oh. It's uncomfortable. Yay! Eric Cooper just said, "Whoa, I could read the poll. Did they fix it?" Thank you, YouTube, if you fixed it. That's very good because I know that's been an issue for a while. Yeah. Yeah, poll-wise, we are currently sitting at almost, I would say, a third of everybody watching has voted, and we are at 98% yes that something's weird. Something's weird. Thank you for helping me, validate this because I feel less crazy now. I am going to check in with you guys before we do the next topic because I know it's been a while since we've talked. And I did not really get to talk to you guys much at the beginning of the stream because of the technical difficulties, which again, I apologize for. So, mini halftime now, and then we'll do a secondary halftime after the next topic. How is everybody doing? Want to let me know, where are you watching from? How was your holiday? I'd love to just talk to you guys. Thank you so much. I can see there is over 170 people here, which is incredible. Thank you all so much for being here. It means so much. And if you have not hit that like button, please consider doing so. Please hit the subscribe button if you have not done so too. And also hello to all of my space angels. And it's exciting, and I'm so happy that you guys are here, and I missed you all so much. So much. I was honestly going into a little bit of like stream withdrawal because it was like, I haven't done this in too long. It's been too long. It's been too long. And I know when I get on here, I'm gonna mess up and it's gonna be weird, and then I'm gonna be awkward and something's gonna go wrong technically and all that stuff. So yeah. I am glad you guys are here. Just double checking. got a message from good. Sorry, just got a message from my fella about the doggos at their hair appointment. They're doing good. Everything's good. So that's excellent. Oh my goodness, seeing people from all over. We got Sean, of course, in Vancouver, BC. We've got Elizabeth Lacey in Spokane Valley. I hope I said that right. London, UK. Arlington, Texas with Tammy. Sorry, Sue is in London, UK. I didn't say that. Rando's in Iowa. Rando from Iowa is in Iowa, guys. Project Metal Music, of course, in Sunderland, UK. Average Supreme in North Dakota. Tread Lightly in Melbourne, Australia. We've got Denver, Colorado from Melissa Smith. Katie is in Cali. Rando YYC. Hi, is in Calgary, Alberta. Honey is in Finland. This is so cool. It's so cool to see where you guys are all from. It's amazing. I'm glad you guys are all here. Thank you for being here. Now, I did want to pitch something to you guys quickly before we move into the next topic. And it's that while I was off, we had a major development in one of the stories that I've been following. And that is Miss Jody Hildebrandt. She had her court date. I am debating for Jody having what I want to call a members only stream. And it's not to exclude anybody. It's so I can talk about some of this stuff without the fear as much of the censorship of YouTube. And we've done this once before when it came to talking about Britney's family history, because I didn't think it would be possible for me to communicate what I wanted to communicate without having issues with YouTube. So I am very much considering doing that. I would love to know if you guys would be interested in doing that. And if you guys would want to hang out for a members only stream talking about what happened with Jody, and then probably having some form of a palate cleanser after, because I'm sure it's going to be brutal. But I mean, the last time we did a palate cleanser thing after we watched something traumatic, we all discovered John Dacre together. This is what happens on these streams. So I definitely will be looking into that if you guys think that that is cool. Also, speaking of membership, thank you so much, Shauna, for gifting 20 memberships. That is absolutely amazing. Shauna, you've been so generous today. My goodness, I'm very overwhelmed. I'm very overwhelmed by the generosity. It's amazing. And I just also saw King Bob just sent in a tip for me for the court as well. Thank you very much. You guys are absolutely amazing. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of like positive, like good idea. This is cool. Okay. All right. Yeah, and as Shauna said, members only. Love when we can go candid. I try. Producer sister, do you know how many memberships we have had gifted today?
50.
We've had 50 memberships gifted as of today. So here's what I will say to all of you that are not members, that are not Space Angels. Please make sure, if you're interested in becoming a Space Angel, that you have allowed gifts in your account. You have to do this. I can't do it for you. Nobody else can. You have to allow gifts in your account. And then when amazing people like Shauna make the decision to support my channel by gifting memberships, you get to be part of that. But unless you have allowed it, it's not going to happen. Now, if you are in a place that you're interested in doing it for yourself, you can get your own membership for yourself. It is $2.99 a month. I have it as pretty much as low as it can go. And I want it to be accessible to people. So you are welcome to take a look at that if that's something you'd like to do. And you can join in on the exclusive fun. And if you need help figuring out how to enable gifting, like allowing gifts for your account, producer sister has just posted a link to Google's support that explains how to do that. So if you would like to do that, you are welcome to do so. And I hope that that is helpful. Okay. And also, before anybody asks, gifting membership is completely random. We have no control over who it goes to. I wish I did, but we don't. So that's how that works. Okay.
Got a couple support things that came in before Shauna.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, producer sister just informed me we had a couple of support things that I missed. First off, Terry has been a member for 5 months. Happy New Year and thank you for your channel. Thank you for choosing us all the time. We so appreciate it, Terry. Jean Rick, my queen space angel. Yes, 11 months. Adore Kim and the Space Angels. And we love you too. Thank you so much, Jean Rick. Who also sent in a super sticker, which I'm going to go over and see if I can see which one it is. One up? Excellent. Love the one up. And then, of course, Shauna with the 20 gifted memberships. You guys are amazing. All right. So, the next thing that I wanted to talk about, I kind of wanted to talk about it after last night. I know some of you guys were present. I went on my friend Lewis's channel and we spoke about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, which, for those of you that are unaware, is a pretty popular story in the news right now of a woman who has recently been released from prison, and she served 7 years for the conspiracy to unalive her own mother. And the thing is, I think a lot of people are very torn about this situation because it is incredibly complicated. And it's one story that I have followed for years now. Because it was just one of the most insane things I had ever heard in my life. And I am someone who, I want to be very clear, and I really would appreciate it if before anybody starts throwing anything at me that you hear me out. I believe that Gypsy Rose Blanchard, although I cannot condone her behavior, I believe she was forced into a situation that was unthinkable and impossible. And she made the choices she did in an act of survival. And I don't feel that her boyfriend, that is also currently now still serving time for the passing, the unaliving of her mother, I don't view him as a victim that a lot of people do. Um, and there's a lot of reasons for that, and it's has more to do with the actual court cases and what went on through that trial. And what I can tell you is, from all of the things that I can't get into it the way that I want to because of the community guidelines. And I'm not trying to, so that's why I'm being very careful about what I'm saying, because I don't want to upset community guidelines. I've said what I've said. For any of you guys that have been following anything to do with lawsuits and juries and all those types of things, please understand that the jury deliberated in the case of her boyfriend for, I believe, less than 2 hours and came back with a guilty verdict completely. Their cases are very different. And honestly, that may be something that I choose to do in a members only, that we break down the differences and I explain why I don't feel that way. So it's very, very complicated. But my biggest frustration I have when we talk about this topic is what I see as a lack of compassion for Gypsy. And I understand why people don't feel it. Um, but I think the best way we can talk about this is by actually talking about Dee Dee, who is Gypsy's deceased mother. So I find when I talk to people about this case, they don't know a lot about this person. They don't know a lot about the mom. They know lots about the girl. They know lots about the daughter, but they don't know about her. So I'm going to introduce you guys to Dee Dee Blanchard because I think that this is important. This is half the story, right? And I feel like it's a half the story that is not being discussed. And I constantly see people saying, well, did she deserve to have something bad happen to her, essentially? First of all, I think that that's a bit of a straw man argument. But what I want to say is that Dee Dee Blanchard, in my opinion, was a monstrous individual. Absolutely monstrous. And if we had found out what she was doing before Gypsy did what she did, I think there would have been an absolute movement of hatred against this woman. But because of the events that unfolded, all of that anger got pushed to Gypsy. So what I'm trying to explain here is we have to understand why Gypsy was pushed to the point that she was. So these are things about Dee Dee. I have looked into this for quite a while. I've watched multiple documentaries. I've done my research. And this is just some things about her. So Dee Dee was Gypsy Rose's mom. Dee Dee was believed to have suffered from Munchausen syndrome by proxy, which is now being referred to as, I believe it's facetious disorder imposed on another, which basically means that she believes that someone who is in her care is sick and will subject this person to the treatments that they deem to be necessary against medical opinion, even at points. It's a very, very dangerous, dangerous disorder. And in order for this to work, for her, Dee Dee to get what she wanted, which was to continue having her daughter being treated for various diseases and conditions that she did not have, Dee Dee had to get creative. So Dee Dee's family has alleged that Dee Dee had a habit of retaliating against people that she did not like, or that didn't do things the way that she wanted them to be done, which is always a little bit disturbing when you meet a person like that. In particular, she apparently used a lot of theft against people in her life. When she lived with her mom in 1997, her mom was actually suspecting that Dee Dee was trying to starve her. Okay, so there's the first person. We got a problem, right? That Dee Dee's not doing right by another person. Then later on, Dee Dee allegedly poisoned her stepmother with Roundup weed killer. And they started to think that maybe something was wrong. So they kicked Dee Dee out. And amazingly, after months of suffering and them thinking that her stepmom wasn't going to make it, she miraculously recovered. So allegedly, but okay, so there's person number 2. So literally on this slide, as we get started, we have allegations of theft and allegations of attempted unaliving, as well as, neglect at minimum with her own mom. Okay. Over the first 2 decades of her daughter's life, Dee Dee convinced doctors that her daughter Gypsy had leukemia, asthma, and MS, among other conditions. When a doctor questioned her, she moved. And this was the thing with her. If anybody questioned her, she would cut them out and move on to someone else. And one doctor that questioned her was told to treat them with golden gloves and knew that he would not be believed if he moved forward with his suspicions. Okay, so she had manipulated this entire system. She claimed Gypsy's medical records were destroyed in Hurricane Katrina. So, because there was this lack of documents and follow ups by doctors, it allowed Dee Dee to medically torture her daughter through years of unnecessary medical treatments, medications, and surgeries that were not needed. And this is where I kind of have a thing here. Gypsy had a feeding tube inserted in her stomach. She also primarily lived on Pedialyte, I've read. So not getting the proper nutrition she needed at minimum, plus having all of these chemicals and other things being put into her body that she did not need that would have affected her development. Then we talk about these unnecessary surgeries that she did not need. To me, this is absolutely demented. This is completely demented. And this is where I get really frustrated that it's like, if you put yourself in a position that you were lying in a hospital bed and someone was making medical decisions for you and you had no say, and that person was constantly ordering doctors to put your life at risk, and the only way out was for you to fight back against this person who had control over you, you have to understand at that point, her life was on the line. This was not the simple, what you would consider in a very simple sense of self-defense. But I'm sure at a certain point, Gypsy knew she had to do something or she wasn't going to make it. And it's really, really sad. Now, on top of that, Gypsy's teeth rotted and fell out due to the medication she was given and due to her salivary glands being removed. Now, they were removed because she had excessive drooling, except reportedly, allegedly, Dee Dee was stimulating them so that she looked like she was drooling more so that she could get the surgery. Are we aware of how crazy that is? Like, I cannot. She also had various procedures done under anesthesia, Gypsy. Gypsy's hair was shaved off to give the illusion that she was losing her hair due to cancer for sympathy. She was confined to a wheelchair, even though she could walk. And if you don't walk, right, you lose muscle mass. It affects your body. There's so many things that are happening here. Dee Dee, in my opinion, whether she was conscious of it or not with her condition, was trying to kill her daughter. That's my opinion. And you can disagree with me if you want, but that's how I feel. It is, yeah. Ashante, exactly. OMG, just what? Exactly. Exactly. So, on top of that, the other part of this was that Gypsy was isolated, right? This is her reality. All she knows from what's supposed to be her true north compass of love and what is right and wrong is a woman who lied to the world because Gypsy knew that she could walk, but knew that she wasn't allowed to walk in public. So she knew that her mom was lying and that was okay, right? So the whole moral compass, this idea of how you're supposed to think and what's right and what's wrong, we've got to remember that this is not normal. The way that she was raised, what happened with her is not normal. And her father couldn't get close to her. Rest of her family was cut off. She was completely dependent on Dee Dee for absolutely everything. On top of that, she got pulled out of school. From what I saw with research, I believe it was like by grade 2. So she didn't have an education. She taught herself to read. And when you have someone who is essentially being poisoned, tortured, abused, isolated, all those things, I really can't blame her that much for maybe not thinking with a full deck. And I'm just going to put that out there. Now, Gypsy was also physically abused by her mother if she stepped out of line. So if she questioned her in public, Dee Dee would hold her hand and would squeeze it as tightly as possible on her knuckles. Now, keep in mind how frail and tiny Gypsy was because she wasn't eating. She was being fed through a feeding tube. She was very weak. Dee Dee knew that this caused her pain. She caused her pain to keep her in line on a regular basis. On top of that, Dee Dee also falsified Gypsy's birth certificate multiple times, so that she remained underage so that she could maintain control. Okay? This woman is a freaking monster. Absolute monster. And this is the other thing I see all the time. People say, well, why didn't Gypsy run? All she had to do was stand up from the wheelchair and go, it's all a lie. I'm free now. Like, okay, first of all, you got to think about the fact that this is an abusive relationship. And I think many of us are sympathetic to that. And we understand that it's very easy to tell someone who's in a physically abusive relationship, for example, that you could just leave. Why didn't you just leave? Right? Like you knew what you were signing up for. Why didn't you just leave? To me, this is exactly the same thing. If you say, why didn't she just stand up? Come on. But I'll share this with you guys. And this is a screen cap from Wikipedia, but I have confirmed this. It's a very good summary, so I'm just going to read it. Since 2001, Gypsy had attended science fiction and fantasy conventions, sometimes in costume, since she could blend into their diverse and inclusive communities in her wheelchair. At a 2011 event, she made what what may have been an escape attempt that ended when her mother found her in a hotel room with a man she had met online. Again, Dee Dee produced the paperwork giving Gypsy's false younger birth date and threatened to inform the police. So essentially, in my opinion, that's extortion. So she was going to use falsified documents to accuse this man who was in the hotel room with her legally of age daughter to try to frame him and destroy the rest of his life. Gypsy recalls that afterward, Dee Dee smashed her computer with a hammer and threatened to do the same to her fingers if she ever tried to escape again. She also kept Gypsy leashed and handcuffed to her bed for 2 weeks. Dee Dee later told Gypsy that she had filed paperwork with the police, claiming that Gypsy was mentally incompetent, leading Gypsy to believe that if she ever attempted to go to the police, they would not believe her. So if you're in a place where you're literally being operated on without your consent, you're being pumped full of things that are destroying your body, you're being starved essentially, you have no connection to the outside world, you can't even speak to your own father, you don't have a school to go to, friends to go to, doctors who are supposed to be mandatory reporters have not seen a problem, and you're being threatened with physical violence. What do you do? What options do you have? And this is where I say to anybody that, doesn't have the compassion for Gypsy, what exactly, with all of that information, was she supposed to do? As a very, and I'm going to say sick, because at that point she was being medicated for things she did not have, and all that type of stuff, and recovering from surgeries and all that. What exactly is she supposed to do? I And that's where I end up. On top of that, Dee Dee also had a criminal history. She was arrested for writing bad checks as well as other misdemeanors, I believe. She lived off of government handouts fraudulently because of what she claimed Gypsy had and went along with. So, yes, American taxpayers were paying for her to continue doing this to her daughter. Looking back now, we can see that Dee Dee, in my opinion, committed fraud against the government, Make-A-Wish Foundation, Habitat for Humanity that built them a whole frickin' house, and not to mention lying to the entire world. When Dee Dee passed, her ashes were returned to her family, and they responded by flushing her ashes down the toilet, and no one would pay for her funeral. Dee Dee Blanchard was a monster, and I believe that Gypsy was put in an impossible situation, and she had to fight for her life. I truly don't believe that there was an ending with this the way it was going, that they both were going to make it out alive. I know that that is a hypothetical, but to me, it's just absolutely bizarre. Gypsy never should have been in a place where she had to fight for her survival against her own mother the way that she did. It is absolutely horrific. And we've on this channel, particularly like when we've talked about CA situations and stuff, particularly like with 8 passengers. The amount of rage that we have felt when it comes to people like Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrandt. I mean, I think we've all felt that. We've all had that anger. The way that we all felt when we read out when I read out the charges that were put against Ruby, and then her plea deal document where she admitted to the things that she did to her kids. Whatever the kids had to do in that situation to get out and save their lives, I wouldn't have judged them for. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't have judged them. If one of them, like if Jody or Ruby got hurt in that process, I don't have a lot of sympathy. And that may mean that's not a nice thing for me to say, but that is genuinely how I feel. Maybe that's something I need to work on my own heart. But I feel like when it comes to Gypsy, people look at it differently because I believe she was over 18 when her mother was unalived, and she conspired for that to happen. Did her 18 years of torture mean absolutely nothing? Is it different because she wasn't a young child anymore? And as far as I'm concerned, from what we have heard about Gypsy, she has worked incredibly hard while she's been incarcerated, and she's gotten multiple degrees from what I've heard. She has acknowledged and has been open that, she shouldn't have done what she did, but also acknowledged how difficult the whole situation is. I don't believe that this girl is a danger to society. I believe that this girl deserves a chance to live her life because she's never been able to. The reason people are so happy that she's out of prison now is because literally this week has been her first week of freedom ever. She has been a prisoner for like 32 years. I don't believe she got away with I'm hearing people say she got away with murder. I don't believe she got away with it. She had to stand before a trial. She had to testify in 2 cases. She was in prison for an extended period of time. She has to live with knowing that this is going to follow her for the rest of her life. And now that she's out, she's trying to tell her story after years and years and years of other companies, monetizing her trauma, exploiting her story for their own benefit. And now she's finally in a place where she can actually share her side of the story. I am interested to hear her side of the story. I definitely hope that her parole is enforced and that, there's a close eye on her because obviously she's been through a lot. She's been through a lot. And, the same as if you commit a crime, this is the process, right? And I totally agree with that being done. But can we honestly give this person a chance to live her life? I really don't think that that's that crazy. And I'm really tired of hearing people defending Dee Dee because to me, once you start looking at who Dee Dee was, if you are feeling more sympathy for Dee Dee than Gypsy at this point, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. And for me, I understand that this is complicated, but I genuinely do hope the best for Gypsy. I really do. And I'm gonna follow what's going on with her. I hope she is doing okay. I know it's probably very overwhelming the amount of attention that she's getting right now, and she's also gonna have to have some social maturity and things like that as she moves into essentially the real world for the first time. But I hope that she's gonna be okay. I genuinely do. And at the same time, I don't think we should forget what Dee Dee did because that's half of this story, and I feel like it's being ignored right now. Yep. Medora art, exactly. Sometimes we can't run. Nobody would believe us, so we accept our fate to survive. Yep. Been there. Imagine this case. This girl, I will never judge her. She paid her time and she's suffered enough. 100%. That's how I feel. And I know that there are some people that don't feel that way. And everybody's entitled to their own opinion, genuinely. But it's hard. Oh, carbonized. Okay. Carbonized just shared, when I was 18, I was held prisoner, 18 to 21. And I am so messed up, I can't even explain. That's only 3 years. This girl, she lived it for a lifetime. Leave her be. She still has the rest of her life. And Jackie just said she deserves a chance. And that's what I'm saying. She deserves a chance. And yeah, and it's like, and producer sister just said, do we really believe that she's a danger to society? I don't.
Or she in a perfect storm of circumstances
Yeah.
that pushed her to this.
Yeah. So it's, I would ask if you have, I understand that this is a very difficult thing, and the more that you look into this case, the more disturbing it becomes. And for some people, it may be too much, especially depending on your history. But if you don't know a lot about this story, please don't judge it based on headlines that you're seeing, right? Because I mean, I feel like with the internet, like in news and all this type of stuff, a lot of the reason why people go to the internet and go to live streams like these to hear the news is because they want to hear more than just the headline. They don't want to hear the media spin. They want to hear a real person looking at things and trying to be, um, critical and making sense of things. And that's exactly what I try to do. And that's why I'm going into this. This is not a story that can be summarized in a headline. It's just not. Um, so yep, I want the best for her. That's it. So, people can be mad at me if you want. That's fine. Um, I am gonna just pop over to the chat very quickly. You see here. I am gonna stop the poll. We got a good amount of votes here, and 97% of you think there's something up with Kanye West and Bianca's relationship. Thank you for, helping me with my sanity here on that front. Hey, Steph. Hey, girl. How are you? Hi. Everybody say hi to Steph. And if you have not subscribed to her, she has a link in my description underneath my friends are here, Steph the Elder Nerd. Please do me a favor, hit on that and subscribe and support my friend Steph. If Steph was not here, I would not be here. Um, and she is getting really close to 100,000 subscribers, and I want to see her get that plaque. So you can help make a dream come true today and support somebody who's amazing and help her get that plaque. So please go do that. That'd be great. Hope you're doing good stuff. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I am going to ask, we're going to do another poll. Mentor art, yeah. That 3%, I have questions. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And I'm going to ask, let me see, does Gypsy Rose, I'm going to say, does Gypsy Rose deserve a second chance? Like, I think we're all in agreement that, what she did was wrong, but impossible situation. Right? So I'm not going to ask that. I'm not going to ask you guys if unaliving someone is wrong. That's ridiculous, but here we go. Hey, Steph. Yeah, I'm doing good. We need to do a catch up. Got some gossip for it. Oh, I'm here for it. Let's go. Let's talk. Let's talk. All right. Well, we are in our halftime portion now before we move on to our What the Whats. I am going to encourage you guys to please consider liking that stream. I think with the amount of people we have in here and then the like count, we could probably do better. So please remember to hit that like button and also subscribe, share, join, all that fun stuff. Just double checking here, just checking my notifications because I think there's a few things coming in. Okay, yeah, we're good. We're up to date. Steph, am I available after the stream? Yeah, I can be if you need me to. Hit me up on Telegram. We'll talk. All good. Okay. Cardinals. Jeez. Well, now we all want to know the cost. Oh my goodness. It's funny. Alrighty. Yeah, so it looks like people are 90% of people are like, yeah, she deserves a second chance. I agree. Oh, Shauna, thank you so much for the $50 super sticker. My goodness. Shauna, you are showering me today, and I am like overwhelmed. Thank you so much. It's amazing. Thank you. Love Sue being like, don't mind us. Chat away. We won't tell. No, it's not like it's on the internet forever or anything, right? What's going on, producer sister? Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Thank you very much, Shauna. You are amazing. Well, you guys, we have 3 What the Wuts. We have 2 updates and 1 just funny thing. So I think we'll start with the updates. So, for those of you that don't know, regularly on the show, we have a portion after we do all the news and everything where we talk about things from around the internet that are funny, wild, crazy, and we look at a lot of Reddit sagas. And producer sister goes to great lengths to find these Reddit sagas for us. And usually they take more than 1 episode for us to, go through everything because it's long. And sometimes we have updates to those sagas. And we got 2 of those today. So here we go.
I thought I had a new song.
Zen's is cute YT. I need to subscribe. Yes, you do. Please do. It's easy. You just hit the button. Hit the button. So the first one we've got here is, I don't know if you guys remember this, post-divorce update, financial infidelity accusation and cheating husband. Do you guys remember Joe? Yeah. We're going to talk about Joe. Now, for those of you that aren't up to date, we have a bit of a summary here so you won't be behind. So here we go. We're going to read this first and then we're going to get into the update. Sorry, I'm just looking at Joe being like, Joe! Joe! Oh my gosh, Joe! 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 The trust issue husband, Joe! I will tell you guys, the updates today are not for Do It for Dan. So I'm sorry about that. There's no update for Do It for Dan.
I checked today.
We are checking. We check daily.
Seriously, I check almost every day. It's basically a permanent tab in my browser.
Yeah.
I just hit refresh.
Producer sister just said it's pretty much a permanent tab in her browser. She just hits refresh every day. Is there a Dan update? Okay. So, hi everyone. Not sure if anyone remembers, as it's been a few months since my last update, but I originally posted earlier this year about my husband Joe accusing me of financial infidelity because I had spent some of my own fun money / savings within our agreed upon personal spending limits on a gaming PC and home office setup. Crap, I just hit the button. Which then devolved into him unfairly accusing me of slacking on my personal appearance, career, and housework. And as soon as it came out that he had been having an affair with a coworker, Amy, who had become pregnant. We separated right after that, and he moved out and in with her. It was wild. Basically, they had like this thing where certain amounts of their money went into their own like fun money accounts. So they both got like the same amount and they did what they wanted to do. He was a much bigger spender than she was, so she saved her money and would make more like bigger purchases over time. So like her gaming PC, so she would save up for that and then get it. And then he would be like, well, I can't afford that in my fun money because he had already spent it on other things because he was constantly spending and was like, you shouldn't be able to do that. And I'm like, we all were like, but why? It was dumb. It was so stupid. Last time I updated, we had thankfully quickly agreed on a divorce settlement that allowed me to protect my most important assets, and I had just met with his mistress, Amy, at her request. At which time it was made clear that he had lied to her about numerous circumstances, such as that our home belonged to him, which it did not. I inherited it from my grandmother, and that I was an underemployed high school dropout and a user. I'm not. I have a master's degree at a high paying tech job, and that we've been separated in spirit for years. Also, not true. I didn't know anything until he blurted out the news about his affair over the summer, and that he had had a vasectomy, which he did not. We talked about it, but he decided not to, despite us, him in particular, not wanting kids. I told her the truth and even provided as much evidence as I had on me, and she didn't seem to believe me and went on home to Joe. It was a lot. It was a lot. I know quite a few people have been reaching out for more news, but I wanted to wait until my divorce was finalized to avoid risking any complications. And also, just thought it was best to let things settle for a bit. The good news is, I am now divorced! Yay! Yay! I know that's sometimes a weird thing to say yay to, but yay!
Divorce, babe, divorce.
Yay! Live your life! Live your life! The final decree came through a few weeks ago. It actually went very smoothly. I'm eternally grateful to live in a mutual consent divorce state that allows divorcing couples to proceed quickly if they can come to an agreement on finances and property. On the Joe/Amy front, after my last post, all was quiet for a couple weeks until Amy, her due date quickly approaching, reached out again to ask if I had thought any more about her offer to pay me $17K to vacate the house quickly so that she and Joe could move in. Again, this is the house I inherited that I own, free and clear. But Joe told her that he owns it and it was just giving me time to get my finances together before evicting me. Sorry, it's really funny. At this point, I decided to package up a lot more evidence of Joe's lies and send it on to Amy. I sent her a copy of the deed and the property tax record showing the house is in my name only. I sent her copies of my diplomas to prove that I am not a high school dropout. I sent her some info on various professional associates I am involved in and awards I have won to show that I actually do have a senior level job and I'm not underemployed, as well as proof of my income. I sent her copies of all of my drug tests for the past 5 years. I have a drug-free workplace, so I have to test 2 to 3 times a year to show that I'm not. I sent her time-stamped photos and text exchanges to show that Joe was still having a romantic relationship with me until July of this year. Nothing salacious, just photos of us showing G-rated affection and exchanging loving words over text, etc. I even found a text exchange from a couple of years ago when we last discussed him potentially getting a vasectomy, with his final decision not to proceed with one. Wow.
Receipts.
Girl brought the receipts. Oh, the drama. Oh. A couple of days later, she responded, she believed me. However, in the end, it didn't matter as Joe convinced her he had lied for very good reasons. Okay. The way they tell the story, they met at work and were incredibly drawn to each other in a way that felt inevitable. However, due to Joe being married, he felt that if Amy knew he was, to that point, happily married, she would either turn away from him and miss out on the love of a lifetime, or she would go ahead with an affair but be consumed with guilt. So to avoid either of these outcomes, he's painting himself as this like righteous person.
Better to start a relationship on a complete.
What is this delusion? Delulu! Delulu is not the Salulu! Joe decided to create an alternate narrative in which he was in a marriage that had ended for all intents and purposes years ago and always but legal. But because I was an educated user who kept relapsing and couldn't get my life together, that she could essentially believe he was single. How noble of Joe to bear the guilt alone. That is a level of delusion I don't understand. Wow. Unfortunately, Amy said she understood and forgave him immediately. Of course. With a baby due any day, I suppose I can sort of understand the desire to justify the lies, even though the reality is horrifying. I suppose it's also not my problem anymore. Amy did have her baby over a month ago, and I guess she and Joe will make whatever life together or not is meant to be. All right. As for me, I'm doing very well. I actually got a big promotion at work, not managing people, which I don't want to do, but we'll be working on higher profile projects with a 40% raise. Wow. Just for background, one of the things that Joe complained about, like at the beginning of this, before she knew there was an affair, was that she wasn't consistently working to further educate herself to make more money, even though she was doing incredibly well. But yeah, he wanted her to make more money. Now she's making 40% more. That's fun. Which starts after the new year. The house is really big for just me, so I have a couple of roommates now. A friend who's also going through a divorce moved in, as well as a younger mid-20s cousin who moved to the city for work. We all have a lot of fun together. I'm not really ready to date yet, still in therapy processing all the marital fallout, but getting there and looking forward to whatever new adventure life has to offer. This will probably be my last post in this series anyway, as the saga of Joe and Amy, or at least my role in it, is finished, with us legally divorced and having no ongoing financial ties. The best thing I can do is leave them to their own story and get on with my Joe-free next phase. Thank you all for listening to my story for much of 2023. I do truly appreciate the support and helpful advice I received along the way. And there we be. There's the update about Joe. Wow. Yeah, Melissa Smith, yeah, she's a girl's girl. How many people would go through that much trouble to save a stranger from a terrible relationship?
tried.
You know what? I'm going to say this, and you guys will remember from if you watch the first episode where we talked about this. How many people? What kind of woman would go through all of that to try to help a stranger? A high quality woman. Just going to say that. Just going to say that. Ugh. Carbonize just said, Melissa, I met my son's dad's girlfriend at the time, laid out how he behaved with us, his at the time family, how he treated us, and she still married him. Some don't care. They believe we're the crazy ex-wife. All right, let them believe. Let them live in their crazy. Let them live in their crazy. Let them live in Delululand.
I think they're scared to admit if you're not, if the other person's not the crazy one, they're the crazy one.
Yeah, producer sister just said it's hard to admit. Like sometimes it's just easier to believe the other person's crazy than admit that you're crazy. But no, poor Amy, but also Amy, you gotta leave. You gotta leave. This is bad. It's not gonna get any better. Alrighty. So that was the first update. Just gonna remove this and remove that. And we have the second update. Do you guys remember this one? So producer sister has written up a little summary for me to the AI did, but we're gonna go through it. Okay. So this was a story about a man and his wife that has some tension with their family. They don't really like going to family events because they get kind of chaotic. He doesn't really get along with his siblings. It's a whole thing. So he shared this saga with us. So this is the summary of this saga. So the original poster, or OP's parents, hosted a barbecue that OP initially declined to go because he didn't like his sisters and their family. However, they were pressured into going, and when they arrived, the sisters and their husbands were already like really drunk, and the mom was busy with nieces and nephews, and the dad was in the whirlpool with two beers. OP and his wife made small talk. They had a drink, and the two kids pushed somebody into the pool. And later, the kids ran towards OP to try to push him in the pool, but they moved out of the way because they saw it coming and they didn't want to fall in the pool. And the parents of the kids got upset and blamed OP for not stopping it. Sorry, this got confusing. Wasn't there the phone?
Yeah, it mentions that later.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to double check it. Basically, it was this huge big mess where a phone ended up in the pool, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. And so OP just kind of said, like, well, you guys are going to have to replace the phone. And the sisters were saying, no, we shouldn't have to. You're being ridiculous. There was another altercation, and somebody ended up having to go to urgent care. It was just an absolute mess. And this is exactly why OP didn't want to go. Now, their parents, so the parents of OP and the sisters and everybody, called a family meeting to establish ground rules, which resulted in a half-hearted apology. But the drama continued. That the brother-in-law was demanding that OP pay for his phone, which had been ruined when it was in one of the kids' pockets when they jumped in the pool. So the idea was that the kid would have pushed OP in the pool. OP moved out of the way, so the kid then fell into the pool with the phone in his pocket. The phone got destroyed, and because OP did not get thrown in the pool, it was his fault that the phone got wrecked in the eyes of the brother-in-law. I hope that makes sense. It was just absolutely insane. Yeah. The sister then later attempted to apologize in person after the parents distanced themselves from everybody. So now it's a whole family dynamic. The OP then provided some financial context, explaining that their parents had not been super great at saving money and they relied on Social Security and a pension. The OP's oldest sister confessed to their parents that she and her husband were in financial trouble. Everybody's in financial trouble. And OP got a vacation home and basically gave it to the parents. They wanted them to have something for retirement, but asked the parents not to tell anybody that that house was theirs. So the parents then would allow his siblings to use the property. So the siblings think that the property is the parents, but the property does not belong to the parents. It belongs to their brother. It belongs to OP. Does that make sense? Is everybody still with me? I know that this is complicated. Put a 1 in the chat if you're with me. Let me know. So, what's happening is that the siblings started renting out the vacation home without telling the parents. So, without them really knowing, the siblings were renting out their brother's property, making money off of it, bringing people into the property that he did not give consent for. And they had this whole business to try to get themselves out of financial trouble. So, OP is like, yeah, that's not cool. You can't use my asset to make a business and not tell me. That's not okay. So the parents were like, we're not managing this vacation home anymore. We're not doing this. I can't believe this is happening. Ew, this is awful. And it was bad. So OP is disappointed because the place was supposed to be for their parents to enjoy, but now they were responsible for the property and had taken steps to secure it, including installing security cameras, a lockout for the water shutoff valve. And then they got calls from their sister's husbands who wanted to continue using the house, but he refused and was considering selling the vacation home since they don't use it enough. They had since hired a person to manage the vacation home in the mountains. The manager checks on the property regularly, has access to camera feeds, and does basic maintenance. OP's parents wanted to open up the vacation home for Thanksgiving, but there was a disagreement again. The parents have asked them not to sell the property, and they still plan to use it occasionally. They cut off contact with the sisters. One of the sisters and the husband had to sell some of their expensive possessions because they lost the business. Um, and the author has decided not to turn the vacation home into an Airbnb because of the potential family drama and hassle that it would cause. It was bizarre. It was bizarre. So we have an update on this. You guys ready? Update number 5. Crap. Well, this is starting out good. Wrote most of this yesterday, but decided to wait to post it until I wasn't so wound up. Waiting didn't work. I'm still wound up. Sorry if this rambles. So much has happened. Hard to write coherently. Things have gone to hell. I really did not think anything like this would happen. Short version. My brothers-in-law broke into my vacation home and were arrested. Oh my gosh. They've been charged with breaking and entering, destruction of property, and communicating threats. All class 1 misdemeanors, and I refuse to drop the charges. I might do so if I'm fully paid for the damage they caused. They were still in jail as of Saturday evening, and I assume they're out by now. I mean, OP, I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't think they're going to be able to pay for the damage because we all know that they have
insufficient funds. You ain't got no money. Woo.
We know this. We know this because who uses a property that doesn't belong to you to run a business without telling the property owners? Absolutely ridiculous. Things had settled down, at least I thought so. Hadn't seen or heard from my sisters in over 6 weeks. That's good. My parents went up to the house for a week and had a good time. David, the property manager I hired, has worked out great. He's done a couple of repairs I asked him to do, and I've given him a list that he's going to work on. He usually sends a photo or two of wildlife or a sunset to his clients every week, which was kind of making me wanting to get up there. Friday after Thanksgiving, brother-in-law went to my vacation home. They used an angle grinder to cut through the chain on the driveway gate and damage the gate in the process. They tried to get in through the front door, ruin the lock set, and gouged the door badly. They finally got in through the utility floor door and the locked internal door, and they broke into the barn. I'm not sure why. When they went out the front door, they were met by the sheriffs and deputies and David, which is, I believe, the groundskeeper there, like the person he's hired to watch over the property. David gets notifications from the camera system when there's activity, and he saw what was going on and called the sheriff's department. You go, David. According to David, the brother-in-laws tried to BS their way out of it, but the deputies didn't buy it. Breaking into an empty house is a pretty serious thing up there because it's usually um, M heads who ransack the place and hawk everything. But when but bleh. When the brother-in-laws were arrested, they freaked out big time, saying how they were going to hurt me, etc. Not smart to do that in front of the cops. David and the sheriff's office tried calling my wife and me to see what we wanted to do, but we were spending the day with her parents and had left our phones in the car so we could be in vacation mode. So they booked the brother in laws on everything, which is what I would have asked them to do anyway. Brother in laws called their wives from jail, who of course freaked out. They called my folks, tried to call me, they're blocked, and tried to find a lawyer up there to arrange bail. Not easy to do given that it's a rural area and it was a holiday weekend. Older sister has zero cash and her cards are maxed out. So if they made bail, my middle sister would have to pay for both husbands. I know they were still in jail as of Saturday afternoon because we know that they have insufficient funds. Like this has been a whole theme for a while now. Ridiculous. We didn't check our phones until late Friday on the way home from the in-laws. There were a ton of calls and messages from my mom and my dad, David, and the sheriff's department. Talk about ruining a great day. I was in such a good mood until I looked at my phone. My wife read through the texts and listened to the messages, read them out to me, and by the time we got home, I had some idea of what was going on. I put my brain back into thinking mode, tried to get past my anger, failed. Called David, got the rundown on what happened and how bad the damage was, resulting in more anger. I ended Friday by calling the sheriff's department and telling them that there was no misunderstanding. The brother-in-laws had absolutely no right to be on my property and I wanted to press charges. I didn't call my folks back, barely slept. I waited until Saturday afternoon to call my folks. They were both pretty rattled about it all, my mom in particular, and my sisters had browbeat them into telling me that I should tell the cops it was a mistake and that I wanted the charges dropped. How was it a mistake when you brought a grinder?
You broke it.
How many of you guys have that in your car randomly? Just be coos. Just be a coos. That makes absolutely no sense. No sense. I refused flat out, good, and told them that there was no way I would do that until I spoke with an attorney, and also not until I was paid in full for whatever it will cost to fix everything 100%. My mom was crying hard by the time we got off the phone, which of course made me feel like poop. My dad suggested it was time for a complete start over, but said that he thought they needed to pay for the damage. I haven't gone up to the property yet. There is nothing I can do, and I'll probably go nuts when I see the damage in person. The photos are bad enough. I'm hoping to tomorrow or Wednesday, but my job isn't one that I can wander off for non-emergencies. I left messages with 2 attorney friends asking them to recommend the right lawyers to go after my sister and brother-in-laws. I don't know what I can do exactly, but I'm hoping to get restraining orders. I have all the texts they've sent me that might help, and I'm strongly considering suing them for the money they made renting the place. I don't care about the cash, but it will help make them as miserable as possible. The gloves are definitely off at this point. A couple of side notes. Brother-in-law had no idea I'd hired someone to keep an eye on things or that there were cameras up there now. My parents knew but hadn't told them because they knew it would just give my sisters a reason to drama up. There are signs at the property stating that it's being monitored with cameras and no trespassing signs though. So, yeah, you were warned. My wife has completely had it at this point. I don't blame her. She's been more than patient about it all, but she's reached her limit and was not shy about letting me know. She's told me it's up to me how I deal with this, but that she thought they all needed to be taught a hard lesson. I agree. Older brother-in-law likely won't face any repercussions at his job over this, but the middle brother-in-law has a security clearance, so he might. I'm hoping that would be motivation for middle brother-in-law to pay for the damages himself immediately. David the caretaker has an interesting background. I knew he was friends with some of the deputies, but I figured it was because they were all local. I was wrong. He was a cop in a big city for years. Was shot on duty and afterwards decided to quit and move to where his parents had retired. He has some PTSD over it all. His dog is a certified service animal and is usually with him. Yay! You go, David. I know law enforcement people tend to hang together, so I guess that's how they became his friend group. I don't want to see or speak with these a-holes for the rest of my life. I do not blame you. I know this is in direct conflict with my overwhelming urge to make their lives as miserable as possible. And some relevant comments that the OP made throughout the Reddit thread that producer sister has brought together. A lot of people have said that I should have been A hard day about this all from day one. I avoided it because I would have stressed out my parents, and I hate this kind of drama, but they're still stressed out now. My wife has pretty much opted out of anything more to do with this. She doesn't want to hear about it for a while and says that it's in my lap. She'll ease off, but I'm guessing she's not going to get involved from now on, other than to listen to me blow off steam. Edit. Regarding why they broke in. Conjecture on my part, but I think they were planning on using it for family getaways and or renting it out again. According to David, the property manager, it's deer season through the end of the year. I know the brother-in-laws have used it in the past as a base camp for big group hunting weekends, as it sleeps quite a few people, so one event with friends could net them thousands of dollars. Again, I'm guessing here, but that would explain why they broke into the barn as well. And I bought a 6-seater mule a few years back, and they would want to use that. Okay. There we go. I don't think they wanted to trash the place. It means too much to my dad, and they both like him a lot. We got another update. This is December 2nd. Oh gosh, this goes on for a while. Producer sister, are you serious?
I didn't do it.
We're on slide 8 of 16.
Yep.
What?
Me in jail.
All of this happened in like the past month?
Yes.
I'm not prepared for this. I'm not prepared for this. Oh my gosh. I just thought it would be like the one update. No.
No. I believe yeah, this one and one more.
Oh gosh. Okay, update post number 6. I didn't think I'd be doing another post this soon, but a lot's happened over the past 2 days. Short version, I think the coroner has been turned up on this crap. Thursday afternoon, I got a courier delivered envelope at my office. It was a signed letter from both my brother-in-laws and a cashier's check for $5,000. In the letter, they made what I have to say was a very sincere apology. Among other things, they acknowledged breaking in, acknowledging it was wrong, said the $5,000 was to pay for the damage and they'd pay more if it cost more than that. Also said they'd stay away from the vacation home unless my wife and I specifically invited them. What, you think you're getting invited? What? We're gonna have a family reunion at the property that you. I cannot. I'm sorry. This. Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Of course, it's always about you, isn't it?
This is exhausting. This is actually like exhausting. They also asked that I do what I could to get the charges dropped as soon as possible because they both could lose their jobs, and they'd agree to a restraining order or whatever else it took to have that happen. And that's the thing. He's literally trying to get a restraining order, and you're like, we'll only go to your property if you invite us. Yeah. What? That is a level of Delulu on another planet. I'm sorry. Wow. I can't handle this. Oh my gosh. Ugh. There was more as well. But that was the gist of it. To say that this was a shock was an understatement. It was obviously a total 180 from their past behavior. I've already made an appointment with an attorney to see about suing my brother-in-laws over damage and to try to get a restraining order. I called him and told him what I just received. And he agreed to meet with me at the end of the day instead of next week. Told me not to deposit the check. Nope. No. Sorry, I just looked over at the chat. Katie. It's not Delulu Land anymore. It's Delulu Planet. This is Delulu Planet. Wow. Oh gosh, Lisa, I guess my son is going to have some bottled milk. Where is my wine? I'll blame you. We met for 2 hours. He ended up recommending that my wife and I do a settlement and mutual agreement with all 4 of them, sisters and brother-in-laws. He said if we went after them via lawsuit, we'd almost certainly win, but that could take 2 years or more, and there would be sizable upfront legal fees, and we might never see any money. He also said we could keep the $5,000 free and clear, even if we didn't let them off the hook. He's drawing up an agreement, and it won't be ready until Monday. The agreement will include what is essentially the civil equivalent of a restraining order. Excellent. Sounds like they have a good lawyer. I already asked my property manager to work up a bid to get the damage repaired. I called him after the meeting and asked that he get me as close of an estimate as possible ASAP. Got it that Friday. He thinks it will be around $4,000 to fix everything. Most of that is the front door. On Friday, my attorneys contacted each of the brother-in-laws. and told them that what we were proposing and advised them to get their own lawyers. They both agreed to it. The middle brother-in-law told him they could afford to either pay the damages or pay for a lawyer, but not both. And they figured a lawyer wouldn't make any difference given that they really had no defense for what they did. His biggest concern was if the charges could be dropped. And from what I can tell, they're willing to do anything / sign anything to make this all go away. Guys, you still probably should get a lawyer. I mean, they were arrested. Would you not be able to get a public defender?
Yeah, I would think.
You would think, right? Sorry.
So what's your excuse?
Yeah, I can't. My attorney also called the DA's office on Friday to discuss dismissing the charges and got the name of the prosecutor and left them a message, but has not spoken to them yet. He thinks they'll dismiss the charges because the brother-in-laws are paying up and they have no priors. But then again, he is not a criminal lawyer. They also said I should be prepared to drive up there Monday or Tuesday and tell the prosecutor in person that I want everything dismissed. He also advised me to continue to be no contact with my sisters and brother-in-laws for the next 6 months, and that will be really important to follow the terms of the agreement when it comes to future interactions with them. I'm guessing the brother-in-laws had a change of heart due to them having figured out what's at stake for them, what it's going to cost them in legal fees and fines and so on. They are also the highly unlikely possibility that they could go to jail for 120 days. And as I've mentioned, one of them has a security clearance for his job that could be at risk. So this is their Hail Mary pass to keep their normal lives. This isn't a perfect resolution to the situation, but at least it will get me past the legal and financial parts of this show that I've been in for the past few months. I doubt I'll ever have a civil relationship with any of them again, and that's fine. What I want most at this point is to close this off, get on with my life, and to never speak to any of them again. I'm exhausted from this, and my wife pretty much feels the same way. Kind of a side issue, but getting the written apology was weirdly a huge moment for me. I wasn't expecting that ever, but apparently it matters to me quite a bit. The money doesn't feel particularly important at this moment. I'll take it though. I'm also pretty certain my middle sister and her husband came up with the money. The cashier's check is from a credit union of the company he works for. Once things are signed, I plan to make one more update, probably just an edit to this post. I'm sorry for being so pedantic. I don't know what that means. That's a cool word. Writing these posts has helped me clear my head, and the feedback has really helped. I truly appreciate everyone's comments, insight, and support, and I really, really hope none of you ever have to go through this kind of nonsense. Relevant comment. To be honest, when I finally got home Thursday night, I cried from relief thinking that this might all be over. I'm not going to discuss the settlement with my folks until it's signed by everyone. My sisters and brother-in-laws can if they want to, but I'm not. It's between me and them. Okay. Final update. December 7th. Tuesday morning, I met with my attorney and went over the agreement. Changed a couple of minor things, and he sent it to my sister and brother-in-law. It included a requirement that they pay my attorney's fee, about $3,000. They weren't happy about that, but tried to negotiate it away. But he told them to either accept it as is, or there would be no deal, and we would proceed with suing them for the money they got for renting out the place, wear and tear from renting it, repair costs, and from the break-in and emotional distress. Lost income from having to deal with this, attorney's fees, and whatever else we could. He also told them that I would push hard with the DA's office to prosecute every charge. Short person, they came in and signed. I wasn't there. I was told it was a pretty tense environment and that the middle brother-in-law appeared to have taken charge. And at one point, both of the sisters, told both of my sisters to shut the blank up, or he was walking away from the whole thing and making his own deal with us, and the rest of them could all go to the bad place. They provided another cashier's check for $2,500, claimed that's all they had, is close enough to what we were going to accept it as the final payment. The attorney also told me that everyone was very cold and curt towards each other, but that they managed to keep it all together long enough to sign and left without making too big of a scene. Okay. This is insane. Insane. I drove up to the vacation house early yesterday to check out the damage and to meet with the DA's office. Seeing the damage made my blood boil. It was so senseless. I was so pissed, and I was ready to eat the cost of the repairs and do everything I could to ruin their lives. Tried walking it off. Failed utterly. Ended up calling a good friend who was kind enough to stay on the phone for over an hour letting me spew and vent. He eventually got me back focusing on the bigger picture of putting this behind me and getting on with my life. Honestly, I'm still not sure that's what I want to do, but I settled down enough to get some food in me and I felt better. After lunch, I went to the DA's office. Hadn't made an appointment and had to wait a while, but got to meet with the assistant DA who's got the case. Short version is that since I don't want to prosecute, the brother-in-laws have already paid for the damage. They are willing to drop all of the charges except trespassing, which in this case would be a class 2 misdemeanor. The brother-in-laws will have to plead guilty and pay whatever fine the judge sets. I'm also told that if they fight the trespassing charge or ever so much as fart in public up there, that it would go very poorly for them. I like that. It helped that the brother-in-laws didn't resist arrest. If they had none of the charges would have been dropped. I also went to the sheriff's office to thank them for getting there so quickly and everything. I wanted to thank the deputies personally, but I only spoke to the dispatch person. I tried to meet up with David, the property manager, but I couldn't get a hold of him. A couple of notes. The agreement includes a no contact clause. Yay! Basically, if any of them show up where my wife and I are, or the other way around, whoever got there last has to leave immediately. No contact except through the attorneys or other mutually agreed upon third parties. They will get to keep whatever they made renting from the vacation house, my big give, unless I have tax consequences to which they will be responsible for. And we release each other from all other liabilities up through the present. There is more to it than that, but those are the high points. Wife and I will sign the agreement later today. After that, I can't talk about most of this, but I can talk around it. I think this is my final update regarding all of this nonsense, but I will happily respond, or I will respond to comments if I can. As I've said before, posting about all of this and reading folks' thoughts and responses has been really helpful, and it's probably been key in my being able to handle this in a relatively healthy way. So thank you all again. More relevant comments. I had a hard time not being vindictive, but right now I'm glad I wasn't. If they cause more drama down the road, I'll probably regret it. But if they follow the agreement, that won't happen. The family dynamics are, like you said, pretty much effed. I've only told my parents that we're trying to work things out, nothing more. They may or may not have been okay with the way things will be moving forward, but I had to do what was best for my wife and I. I'm guessing that my sisters have told them a very slanted version, and that's just one more turd I'll have to swim around. Really, the agreement is more of a formalization of how things have been for the last few months. I know it's not how my folks wanted things to go, but I'm pretty happy with it. Somebody asked, have your sisters ever shown this level of entitlement before? And he said, not really, not towards me anyway. We used to be okay. Never very close, but not enemies. Looking back, they had started to resent me when I bought a loft when I was 25. At that point, neither of them owned a home, but both had met their future husbands. They definitely didn't like that I got a place before they did. It got worse when I met my wife. They didn't like that she was part of a wealthy family, especially since I was doing pretty well by then myself. She accused me of being entitled, an elitist and such. When we got married, I moved in with my wife. Her condo was close to where she was doing her fellowship, and I sold the loft. Our wedding was fancy but reasonable, but the sisters were definitely envious about that. After that, they and their husbands got pretty petty, and we started minimizing our involvement with them. The profits from selling the loft, being frugal, and not having a house payment are what enabled me to buy the vacation home for my parents. My folks were okay with hiding the fact that I owned it instead of them because they knew that my sisters would be mean about it and say that I was using my wife's money. I didn't. Most of our finances are separate, though it definitely helped that I didn't have a house payment. Up until this crap started, I actually thought we were okay in a general sense. Our daily lives were/are very different, and I can't pretend I enjoy being around them for more than half a day. But I didn't think they hated me. I didn't know that both sisters had become pretty spoiled, entitled, but it wasn't my concern. And I didn't have any real conflicts with the brother-in-laws either, just almost nothing in common with them. I guess that's a long-winded way of saying I didn't know that they were all such a-holes. One last thought. My small fantasy at this point is that I never hear from them again. And that's the end. There we go. Oh. Good for you, OP. Good for you. That was absolutely wild. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I just got a lot of wows. Wow. Yeah, we all need a minute. We're just kind of coming back a bit. Yeah. Hearts for OP though. Yeah, hearts for both of our OPs in the chat because I'm so glad for the both of them that they both were kind of in really crappy situations and they've done their best. I think they've handled themselves relatively well. They've handled the storm and it seems that they're going to come out the other side okay. Can I also get some hearts in the chat for producer sister for putting these together for us and also then checking for updates on a regular basis so that we can find out what the heck is happening with all of this drama? It's insane. So thank you very much, producer sister, for all that you do. We love you. And that was crazy. That was crazy. I'm also going to go ahead and finish the poll here for Gypsy Rose that 90% of you believe that she deserves a second chance, which I think is good. I think that's good. All right. So, other than that for the show today, I have the third What the What, if you guys are interested. It was Christmas themed because it was supposed to be something we did last week, but unfortunately that wasn't going to happen. But we're here now, right? We're here now. And are you guys cool if we do this? Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are cool with us doing it, just to laugh. If we're down, let me know. I'm just going to take another sip because my mouth is like super dry. Oh my gosh.
He's just less talk. He's not reading anymore. These are all just
Yeah. Just a lot of reading today. A lot of reading today. Blah. Okay. Yes, more What the What. I'm sorry, Melissa. 1/10? What is 1/10? Oh my gosh, this is taking a whole life of its own. Okay. All right, let's do it then. Let's do it. So this is we have 41 fails to look through. Or 40 fails to look through.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun. So here we go. Not only did Grandpa already have this shirt, he was wearing it when he unwrapped it. That's kind of funny. I love how, like, he's like, I like this shirt. Oh, gosh. Merry Christmas, Mom. Oh, my gosh, the dog. Every time I look, I see something else. I'm like, oh my gosh, what? He's such a mess. And they're all like so, I love how they're all like kind of proud, but also they look like they're all going to blame each other. Oh my gosh. Grandma likes to get us puzzles for Christmas. She thought it was an elf. That is awesome. That is a fantastic puzzle, and I want it. All the Yoda love. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. We left some Christmas decorations out in the driveway last night, which I just remembered when I turned on my car this morning, and I just about grabbed my pants. Yeah, the Nutcrackers and Toy Soldiers. Nightmare fuel. I have to say, though, this is something I should probably talk to Mom about, in all honesty. Kim's parents. Sometimes decorations get put on our door, and when I walk past the door, I think it's like a person on the other side of the door. I have had so many like mini heart attacks over the years from that. And I keep on thinking I'm going to catch on to this eventually. No, I haven't. And the thing is, like, it happened at the house we lived at before this one. Like, this has been going on for over a decade. And I'm still reacting to it. And I know some of that's on me. I need to chill out, but it just freaks me right out. My wife and I have a tradition of picking the ugliest tree at the tree farm, and this year we hit a grand slam. What? Charlie Brown called.
Only the top half.
Only the top half. That's kind of funny. Can you put anything on top of that tree? Because at that point, it would just kind of go over. It actually kind of could be funny. It could be really funny. Oh my gosh. My boyfriend said he made holiday cookies. What are those? The eyes! The eyes! What are they? What in the everything everywhere all at once is this? That reindeer, though. Like, that reindeer saw things. I am worried about... What are those? Santa rejects your drama. Your trauma. Like, no. It's wrong. Yeah, the cookies have seen things. You're right, General Scott and Soki. I can't. No, what are those? No. Oh gosh, I gotta keep going. Okay, when the Christmas card photo shoot with the sheep goes wrong, never, ever assume that animals are going to cooperate when you take photos. Ever. Ever. I missed a super chat? Oh no. Okay, hang on. Let me go back. Oh, Doro, thank you so much. She said, thanks for today. I missed you. And a flower for producer sister. Aw, thank you. Producer sister actually loves flowers, so that's very sweet. Especially roses. She's a big roses person. And I will say too, producer sister actually found roses that they were like white on the inside, and then the outside petals were dyed like a green and a red. They were hand painted, and then there was like glitter all over them. They were gorgeous. Like obsessed. Obsessed. We don't get flowers a lot, but when we do, we have fun with it. It's a good time. Went to the office holiday party, didn't know corporate was going to be there. You're festive. You're festive. And quite honestly, you're memorable, right? You're memorable. And sometimes that's half the battle. Sometimes it's half the battle. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a win. I choose to live in the land of delusion and think that that's a win. These ho-ho-hos on the wrapping paper are confetti. There are 1,000 little hos all over my house. So there are hos on my kids. And there will be hos forever. That's great. That's amazing. That's fantastic. Gift I received wrapped in such a way that it appears as if Linus and Patty are getting it on in front of Marcy. What? Oh my gosh. I'm just going to let that live in infamy for a minute. That's a moment in time. That is a moment in time, and I don't know if I would have opened that present. I mean, I guess the photo's forever, but wow. Oh, that's funny. The covering of the eyes too is just I can't. The covering of the eyes. That's amazing. Okay. Tom's first Christmas. Oh, cats and trees. Cats and trees. I have never had a cat. So I don't know exactly what that's like. I just have dogs that like to lay under the Christmas tree and look up. I'm leaving that there. That's so. Oh my gosh. I'm fine. Okay. Oh, I missed you guys. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah. Cats. Merry Christmas. What? That's a slide? No one thought through this production process that this would be a problem. Nobody saw a problem with this? No one saw a problem with this? I can't. Shame on everyone. Shame. I need that from Game of Thrones. The shame. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. When you have your kid paint wrapping paper, but it ends up looking like you got rid of the UPS guy and stole his packages. I mean, little bit. That's pretty funny. That's a bit disturbing though. Maybe when you're painting wrapping paper like that, maybe don't use red.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not a cool. Maybe do like a silver and gold theme or a like the blue theme or do a Candyland Christmas theme. Maybe not red.
Not red.
Maybe not red. Those reindeer. Oh gosh. Again, no one saw a problem. There's multiple. They bought multiple. This house is in Jacksonville. I'm calling it right now. I can't. Ridiculous. Absolutely not. I put a Christmas story lamp in my front window and not one of my neighbors have recognized it. Several have stopped to ask why I have a weird, gross leg on display. And that's when you go out to like, or you go on Amazon or you go to Walmart and you get a bunch of the really cheap DVDs of that movie and you just put them in mailboxes and be like, educate yourself. Oh my gosh. Wow. Isn't that called arson? Light up Christmas.
I laughed a little too hard at that one.
That is absolutely ridiculous. Again, how do people not see this stuff? How do you not make that connection? Oh my gosh. My cat got stuck on the wall on Christmas Day. It's like Bob from Bob's Burgers with the in-laws. Has anybody seen that episode of Bob's Burgers where Bob locks himself like in the walls so he doesn't have to see his in-laws? Poor cat. I want to know how, but poor cat. Merry Christmas from my family to yours. Oh, what was that? Is that a lasagna?
I am not 100% sure.
What happened? Because that's not a turkey.
It might be potato.
Is it potatoes?
Or lasagna? Or I think you might be right with lasagna.
It's insane. What? How did that even happen?
Talent.
I have questions. Oh. My cousin got a drone for Christmas. Oh no. That's not cool. That sucks. I hope they were able to get it out okay. Because that's like traumatic. That's horrible. But like, why are you flying the drone inside like that? I assume. It's weird. This basically sums up traveling with our toddler. Merry Christmas. Ah! Just screaming child in the middle of the airport. Fantastic. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's amazing. Merry Christmas, everyone. No. What is that? That looks like a bad Muppet. That looks like an incomplete Muppet. The face. Nailed it. Oh my gosh. This is how well our Christmas card photo shoot is going. That's a great Christmas card. I would keep that Christmas card. I would literally keep that and put that on my fridge.
It's an honest one.
It's an honest one. I love it. That's great. My brother and his boyfriend, maybe? Merry Christmas to my wonderful brother and boyfriend. What? I mean, I know we were talking about Game of Thrones a few minutes ago, but I don't know. I don't think everybody's cool with that. I don't think that's gonna work.
No.
That's
not so much.
And that looks like a fancy one. That looks like something you get at like
Hallmark card.
at Hallmark. Like with the
dollar store.
with the plastic. Does anyone understand the context in which this would be used other than the I word? Does anyone please educate me? Because I am Confucian.
Yep.
We are in Arkansas. I don't know. Christmas ice marbles, expectation versus reality. During the winter, fill balloons with water, add food coloring. Once frozen, cut the balloons off and they look like giant marbles or Christmas decorations. That is not what they look like. That is not what they look like. I don't believe I can't see how doing that would give you the photo.
No.
Like the first photo.
No. Neither do I.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
Has anyone ever done this? I've never done this. But yeah, I feel like it's a nice idea, but I think it's kind of one of those like maybe like a 5-minute crafts type thing that it's like, this is a lie. This is a lie. My mom is struggling to comprehend Secret Santa. To surprise from oh, your poor mom. Someone help out the mom. She tried. No, kids, it's not Santa, just Uncle Jeff trying to get the tree. You know what that's like? It's like that vine of the guy falling through the ceiling.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
It's literally like it's a security video. Like it's in a store, so they have a camera set up so you can see the cash register. And I think there's somebody just sitting behind the cash register just working. And then the next thing you know, somebody just falls through the ceiling into the middle of the room. And when he's down, he just goes like, I can't remember what the names were, but it's like, hey Paul, hey dude. And then it just ends like nothing happened except he like fell through the whole ceiling. So it's like, hey Jeff, what's up? Way to go, Paul. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say this. Paul, up in the mountains. I tried to get Starbucks on the way home before our 4-hour drive home. And this dude, Paul, came into the Starbucks and just took a whole bunch of people's food and drinks. They weren't even his. There were other drinks there with his name on it. He just took a bunch of people's food and stuff and left, including my food and one of my drinks. And I had to go back and wait for them to do it again because Paul couldn't be bothered to read for his own name. So I'm standing there looking at a whole big thing for Paul with no Paul. Then I see Paul show up. Paul takes some of his drinks that he feels like, takes my stuff, and leaves. Thanks, Paul. Calling you out, Paul. I don't feel like messing with the whole tree. I'll just do one of those wall trees I saw on the internet. Oh, that looks like a Midsommar Christmas tree. Please tell me I'm not the only one that sees that. The Midsommar. Hang on. It's the Midsommar tree dress. Okay, I'm pulling up a picture so I can show it to you guys. Share screen. Yes, StreamYard. Let's go. This dress. That's a person. Florence Pugh is in this. That is a dress. It's an important part of the movie. You guys see it? I'm not crazy. They tried. To cook a Christmas turkey. Oh, it was cooked. That turkey was lit.
Oh, yeah.
It was lit. I don't know. Might be a bit dry though.
Just a smidge.
A little bit dry. Oh my gosh. But the wine is there. So we're having a good time. The wine is there. This is good. This church ad. Oh no. God is now here, but it says nowhere. Fonts matter. Spacing matters. Design matters. This is why you should pay for good graphic designers. They earned their keep. Look at this. God is nowhere. Christmas Eve.
Be a real uplifting service.
This is going to be very uplifting, life-changing. Oh my gosh. I can't. My neighbor's Christmas spirit is bigger than his door. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Bro, I think if you want a tree that big, you're going to have to get a fake one. That's not going to work. Buy tree. And you know what though? For now, you have a Christmas shrubbery out front of your door. The Knights Husseini will be very happy. There's a shrubbery. A shrubbery. Gosh. Our stab at Crescent Roll Christmas tree, pretty sure it looks like a dinosaur. Yeah, I see that. Instead of Jingle Bells, it should be the Jurassic Park theme.
Those aren't that bad either.
Like,
I made that tree.
Yeah, the tree's not that hard though.
No, I've done it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Producer Sister's done something like that. What did you?
I did it last year.
There's no way you'd put it down that way.
No.
There's no way. This is weird. Okay, keep going. Sorry, that's a fail. That's not a nailed it. That's a fail. When your parents wrap your presents last minute, let it snow. Let it snow. Where's Tinkle? Tinkle! I'm calling you. Hope your ears are burning if you're not here, and you know why. Oh, gosh. Trying to watch my kids' Christmas concert. Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. That's probably exactly what it is now. Ugh. That sucks. That sucks. I do not envy these people. Closing the oven door with your foot whilst cooking Christmas dinner. Good job. I don't think your oven is going to work for you today. You might want to call for pizza. Or somebody else is going to have to take that food, although I would be scared now that there's glass in it.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's a fail. I'm sorry. A friend of mine just sent me this. It was Christmas dinner. What is happening? Is that the table?
Which we have had.
We have had that happen. We had a table very similar to that, but we had it outdoors.
It's an outdoor table.
It's an outdoor table. And it did one day. We came out, but it hadn't completely let go.
No, it was shattered in.
Yeah, it was shattered in the frame. So we knew like if we touched it at all, it was gonna go. But we were able to somewhat control it, which was good. But that sucks.
We also had that with shower door.
Yeah, that was shower door as well. Sucks when that happens. What they advertised: Christmas brilliance and market. What we got? Oh no. No! False advertising. That sucks. I hope they got dragged for that. Spent hours making these cupcakes, and my aunt put them in the oven so they were out of the way, yet the oven was on and they melted. Oh no! The funny thing is when I looked at this at first, like the split second I saw it, I thought it was like a, what I ordered, what Wish delivered type thing. Like I tried and I failed. No, it's a reverse of that. It's a reverse of that. That's uncomfortable. That sucks. That sucks. Oh. Dragged my husband Christmas shopping on a hangover. He was a great help. I mean, what did you expect? And I assume it looks like they're at a thrift store. So you're hunting. You're going to be there a long time. Let him nap. Let him nap. Got a game for Christmas that didn't even have the game. That's Zelda. Oh gosh, that sucks. That sucks. What do you even do at that point?
I don't know.
How do you
prove it wasn't there?
Yeah. That's insane. That's insane. I hope maybe they were like video recording when they opened it.
Maybe.
Because that would be kind of cool. Like if you open up the wrapping and everything and then you take the plastic off and then you're like, it's not in here, then at least there's something. But oh, that would be a mess. Waking up to this after accidentally leaving the window open. Merry Christmas. I mean, why'd you leave the window open in winter? Not great. Not great. At least it doesn't look like it's melted much yet. You might have a hope of getting it out of the car. Maybe. That sucks. That sucks. And that is it. Those are our Christmas fails. That was beautiful. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much, producer sister. That was amazing. Hearts in the chat, love in the chat. Amazing. Amazing. Well, you guys, I just heard some barking upstairs from my sister's dog, Sammy, which probably means that my little ones are home from their appointment. So I need to go and check on them. And I can't stay for much longer. But this has been so much fun. We've been going for 2 hours and a bit, and this is awesome. I will be looking more into the Jody Hildebrandt thing, and I think if we can potentially do something in the next couple days, I will. It's just going to depend on a couple of different things. And I know you guys didn't get a Monday stream because, I mean, I thought about it, but I was like, I have to travel first of all, but second, I figured most people would be a little hungover and may not want to watch anything that has light or is loud. So I figured not to do that. But I hope everyone is good. I'm excited for New Year. I'm excited for New Year. I'm excited for what's to come. And I really didn't think this time last year that I would be doing a show like this and having you guys here. So I'm really excited that that's the vibe. That's what's happening. And how do I put this? I'm so happy streaming compared to doing the standalone videos that I was doing. I enjoy it so much more. So I did want to say thank you guys so much for enabling me to be able to do that and have fun with it because it's great. And I love being able to interact with you guys and laugh and just have fun and be random. I think that it's the way to be. So thank you so much, you guys, always for your support, all of your love. I will hopefully see you guys all very soon. And thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for all of your generosity today. Welcome to all of the new Space Angels. Thank you for all of the gifts. Thank you for all the PayPals. Everything that you guys gave is just absolutely incredible. And I appreciate you all so, so, so much. And I will talk to you guys all very soon. I'm going to play the outro. If you wouldn't mind reloading when the outro is done and leaving a comment, it would help me out tremendously. I just saw Joanne send through the member for 10 months. I don't know if it's going to come through in time on my side. Thank you so much, Joanne, for your support. I so, so, so appreciate you. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and we'll see y'all soon. Much love.